Hey, David L. Hoyt here at the Red Lion Lincoln Square Pub in Chicago, a couple blocks from where I live and work. And I don't know if you know who I am, but I am the world's most syndicated daily word game creator. About 8 to 10 million people a day play my word games in newspapers, online, on mobile devices, and I don't even know where else. But I was talking to Mary Cousin recently, and I was telling her about how I became a game inventor, because even though I've grown into this, word game guy, I still invent other games. I have a new card game that just came out, and I've sold board games, to Hasbro, to Mattel. I've done Uno extensions. I invented Uno 52, Uno Freefall. I have an understanding of, all types of game invention. And I was telling her about, kind of my story about how I became successful at this. And she said, oh, I would love to have this, in a video so that, other, new inventors can kind of get some advice or, some thoughts. And there was one thing in particular that I felt that really helped me to become successful. So that's what Mary wanted me to talk about. So here's the deal. In 1993, I had a high-paying job on the floor of the Chicago Board Options Exchange, and I just decided I wanted to completely retool my life. I wanted to be a game inventor. So I gave up everything. And I thought I had saved up enough money to do this, but I was wrong. I went through that very quickly. And I ended up getting a part-time job, and I struggled. I went from being, having a really great job to struggling artist kind of thing. And it was just wonderful. I said, I'm going to give it 4 years. And if I'm not successful after 4 years, then I'll figure out something else. So I started inventing games. And I invented a game called Economic Warfare, coming from the options market. And I showed this game to Parker Brothers, to Chris Conger, who was in product acquisitions at Parker Brothers at the time. And I'll never forget this. It was so amazing. It was my first pitch meeting. And I walk in there with this game I had spent, a long time on, thinking, this is the greatest game ever. And he said, oh, we can't sell this. Like, it literally took him a minute to see that, they would not be licensing this. And even if they did, they couldn't sell it anyways. So I said, tell me why. I really wanted to know why, because I'm a big believer in, information is the key. Knowledge, it's the ultimate power. So, as long as they're not going to take it, at least spend the time to tell me in detail why they weren't going to take it. So he did an incredible job. We sat there for 30 minutes and he explained to me why this game was nothing that they could do. Like, there was no chance they were ever going to do it. And it was cool. I wasn't offended, even though I walked in there thinking, great game. It was wonderful to hear the reasons why. So I said, all right, I appreciate your time. I'll be back in 90 days. So 3 months later, I show back up with a different game called Dominion. It was very fun, very cool game, but same thing. Nope, we can't sell it. So this time I was ready. I said, tell me why. So he spent the time to tell me why, and it got me kind of thinking differently. Rather than go in there and think, okay, this is the greatest game ever, I'm going to be able to sell it for sure. Now I was walking into these meetings, and I set up, I would just set up a meeting every 30 days, 60 days. I would meet with anybody, but I wanted them to tell me why they were saying no. And it kind of became a little bit of an obsession with me, where I felt like I was almost setting up meetings knowing that I was not going to license the game, but that it would be a good game for me to get a kind of a different understanding, why they wouldn't take it. So my advice to new inventors, to everybody, is that if somebody said, like, if you walk into a meeting with what you think is the game, this is the one, and they tell you, nope, we're not going to do it, ask why and spend some serious time doing it. What I would do is, like, if I had an hour meeting, I would have 40 minutes worth of pitch, of pitch time. So I had games that would take up 40 minutes, and then I would actually allow 20 minutes of conversation time so that they could explain to me why. And I did that consistently for about 3 or 4 years. And, think about how difficult the job of the acquisitions person is. They're programmed to say no. They are not programmed per se, but they have to say no. They're looking at thousands of games each year, and they have to say no. They have to say no to 99% of them. And there is a real opportunity in that no, that we're not taking it. You have a choice. You can simply leave and say, okay, thank you very much, and be on your way. Or you can look at that as an opportunity to learn more about the business, because it is a business. This is the game and toy, industry is a business that, has a lot of moving parts, a lot of people, and it is not as, you may think that you know a lot about it, or at least I thought that I knew a lot about it. But, I still don't think I know a lot about it. It is, it's a very big business. So when you show a product, if you hear no, you have an opportunity to really find out why and learn from it. And don't fall in love with your invention. I mean, it's great. I understand why, we all fall in love with our inventions, but you can't fall in love with the invention to the point where you can't hear, the reason. Like, you want to be able to hear the reason. And, as long as I'm kind of talking about this, I would also like to do a little call out to these incredible, acquisitions people that I've worked with for these companies. Chris Conger, who was the first person I ever met with at Parker Brothers. Thank you, for saying no and for explaining it. And then Tom Dusenberry, who was the only person to pick up the phone when I first started calling around. And, Mike Cray, who has been wonderful at explaining things. Here's why we can't do this. And Jim Kiefer and Ron Weingartner. I'm sure I'm missing others as well, but I thank all of you for your ability to say no, tell me why, and keep me coming back. Like, you incentivized me by saying no to come back. And again, I know I'm kind of rambling on and on, but it's a casual video here, so it's no big deal. But, back to the, my advice for inventors is, don't think of the no as a negative. Think of the no as a way to build a foundation that is bigger and stronger. If you take that no and you ask why are you saying no? Take that information and build your foundation. And you will end up being a bigger game inventor, more successful game inventor, or whatever it is. So that's kind of it. So I've made this video for Mary, and I hope you like it. But if you don't like it, tell me why, and I will come back soon with another one. So there you go. Thanks a lot.